Well, hello and welcome back to Gmodism. Your host, Lord High Admiral Eric, of course. Yes. Anyways, we are back with more Gimle battles, and we're gonna test a really weird one, which I think you can tell from the title of the video. Gmodism. So, this is the Challenger, and you might be thinking, what the hell? This is literally the Gimle. Why are we having literally the Gimle as a Challenger? Well, let me tell you. This thing was actually participating in another tournament, which it didn't win, by the way. I don't remember how far it was reaching. So, Army of Gmodism Matros 3rd class Sean Reed, who is participating in the trials, trials with 4 different airplanes, because I didn't set a limit. Anyways, he organized a little battle, or not battle, he organizes a tournament that has already been concluded, I believe. Kind of the previous winter, so I think it was November, if I'm not mistaken. And I was abroad at that time, so I was not able to fix the Gimle to participate properly. Fortunately, we got some help from Captain Y to fix the Gimle to participate. So, for some time now, missing in action MIA Captain Y fixed up the Gimle to adhere to Matros 3rd class Sean Reed's rules for the tournament he was hosting. And I think the Gimle lost some battles and won some battles, but I'm not entirely sure. Hopefully Matros 3rd class Sean Reed is watching this and can correct us in comments and perhaps even provide a link to that tournament. Would be very fun. In any case, this might just look like the Gimle, but it is a little bit different on some different places. For example, the S. Davidos class detonators have been reconfigured to Captain Y's layout because EMP was not allowed in the tournament, and they now have a 150-degree frag angle and more shell health. That tournament also heavily limits the amount of firing pieces and sub-objects, so many of the turrets you can see on the Gimle has been transformed to look like the right thing, but actually not being proper turrets. So that is mostly for many of the small turrets. The pack system and the anti-sieves, kinetic sieves is gone, and the pack turret is now replaced with this thing, which is of course the marksman turret, which I like a lot. And that is, we now have 2 marksman turrets, which probably means better results for the Gimle. I do actually think that the Gimle Afterparty version is gonna provide a better fight. Some extra engines and some internal anti-kinetic armor in the form of ducts has been provided inside of it. I think some of the era armor possibly was removed. It was a long time ago, I'm not exactly entirely sure. But most importantly, MIA Captain Y did a fantastic decoration job. So I hope he sees this whenever he comes back to From the Depth, or if he's watching from the shadows, who knows. Did anyways a fantastic job of providing an after-party look. So inside the Golden Hall, you can now see, man, Captain Y just provided so much fun details. You can see that the plates are being collected, and the shop tick, the barrels. Some of the people are just sitting here and sleeping still. Most of the shares are just trashed. Drinks have been spilled, the share has been moved away. Personnel is trying to cleaning up, while the after party is probably going on somewhere unknown. possibly up here with... oh, there he is. He is maybe not MIA anymore. The real after party is probably taking place in the machine room, as all good after parties should. In any case, we have some extra tracking installed too, which will improve the accuracy of the cram turrets. Something that was on the to-do fix list on the Gimle, but well, that didn't happen. So let us pitch the Gimle Afterparty version against the good old Gimle. And to be clear, the Gimle Afterparty version is a joint build between me and Captain Y, and also a bit of Matros Sean Reed, who checked it for complying with the rules and everything like that. So I added a lot of the systems I wanted there. Captain Y fixed it all up, added rest and made it work, and Sean Reed checked it for its tournament, and then it fighted there. But I think hopefully we'll get some link in the comment section. Gonna be really interesting to see how the Afterparty Gimle deals with the original Gimle. And the Afterparty Gimle is going to be getting weird colors, which probably fits the Afterparty vibe. You haven't seen the Gimle in these colors, have you? The temporary, official enemy colors. Anyways, let this battle play out. This is gonna be very interesting. I do believe that these mortars pack a bit of a punch now too. And a lot of the anti-cram systems on the Afterparty version has been removed due to the sub-object limit in Matros 3rd class Sean Reed's tournament, because it had even stronger anti-lag rules. Oh my lord, here we have some explosions. Very interesting indeed. So we're having real big crams against each other. I do believe any of this ship can win, of course. It's a lot about of luck on what shoots where. I do also believe that the Afterparty version doesn't use much lambs. So it's gonna have stronger, consistent lasers. It doesn't have a pack system though, which could be good at crushing the side of the Gimle's armor. Alright. We're already having some trouble with the LAM systems here, but we are providing continuous firepower here. Interesting. Bam. We'll just need to check inside of here to see if we have any explosions that did a lot of damage, because these crams are no joke. This kinetic shield with the wooden ducts is probably not the worst idea I've had. Anyways, let's see here. Well, Captain Y did a fantastic job at fixing up the Gimle to working with those standards, because those standards were like pretty harsh. A lot of adaptations had to be done by the Gimle to make it be able to participate, since the sub-object limit was there and the Gimle has so many sub-objects. Like you can see some of the some of the things looks like turrets, but they are actually not. This is of course the regular Gimle. And if you check it here, you can see that this is a fixed gun. Yeah, the Vigoletta is a fixed system. We even have 3 of them now. And here, these cram cannons, they are fixed system too. And this turret down here, that's a fixed system. So that's just really funny. Smart hack to decrease the sub-object counts by and still providing a lot of damage. But you can see that the Afterparty class Gimle, Afterparty Gimle class battleship is still not actually in the lead. It's gonna be very interesting. I'm wondering what's gonna happen with the cram mortars as well. Bam. Oh, and we can still take out some of those cram shells. The Gimle has some insane anti-cram systems, which is of course not enough to deal with doom crams, but enough to deal with a lot at least. Oh. There we can see it's packed some fragmentations there. Almost killed some ammo. Alright. I think the Arquebalistas has a big potential of dealing a lot of damage in this battle. Oh man. Seems that the laser system is a bit damaged here now. I do not know exactly if we have fuel tanks all over the place, because this was of course not touched since the fire update. It's also possible that some of the turrets might have turning limitations, because we had an update with that too, which did cause some minor issues for the Gimle, but I think maybe it's not affected. The Gimle Afterparty is down to 82%, while the regular Gimle is at 84%. This is just so interesting. I will be surprised if the OG Gimle wins, because so many improvements by me and Captain Y was implemented in the Afterparty class. So it should really be superior, but who knows? You never know until you actually try it, which is the stronger one. But they are very similar, and they can both kill each other with just one lucky shot with the crams. Because of course, if the AI compartment blows up, well, most of the air is at the same space, it's gonna have trouble. Man, it is actually kind of able to deal with these incoming crams. Even though they have a higher health than the Gimle, that just tells me that the Gimle spends too much on anti-munition defenses. Well, at least it can use it in this battle, because in the most battles that comes with like APS and lasers and stuff, the Gimle doesn't have the opportunity to use its anti-munition systems. The Gimle Afterparty class does still have some anti-munition system, but not as much, because each missile launch pad I think counted as a firing piece, so we really had to cut down on that. Huh. I'm a little bit unsure if this is just a decoy, or if it's somehow... Why doesn't it? Maybe it's set up to the wrong range or something, I don't know. Wow, now the Afterparty Gimle's lasers are not working, while the OG Gimle's lasers are. You can see they're frying the side here. Interesting indeed. So that's something I'm always a little bit scared about. If I build a ship to tackle the Gimle, will it even win over it? I don't know. Has to be tried first. Because the Gimle is... it's a lot of careful design and some happy accidents, all put together in a scary thing. Which means that even if I build a new ship, I'm not sure I will be able to make it better than the Gimle, because this thing, it's pretty strong. It's pretty strong, that has to be said. It's just looking at the scoreboard of the ships that the Gimle has won over. And it has won over a majority of the ship, as you have seen. And many of those ships are built by really experienced players. So if you're a new player, sent something into the Gimle and got absolutely annihilated, well, fear not. experienced player are also getting shredded by the Gimle sometimes. It's a lot of building skill, of course, but it's mostly about selecting the proper strategy, which will beat the Gimle. And unless you test it against the Gimle and know what the result will be beforehand, you can't tune it really. So you will not be able to tell if it will be a good strategy enough before after the battle. So it's hard to test a ship as long as you are not testing directly against it. If you're testing a lot directly against it, you can do a lot of trial and error until you find a middle ground, middle way that exactly is able to beat the Gimle. Which you can do too, of course. Some people just love the thrill of seeing if their design actually wins or not. And some people just want to make sure they did everything they can to counter the Gimle as hard as possible and tests it very much beforehand. So they kind of already know how the battle probably will go. But that's up to preference, of course. The Gimle is a public ship that's sitting there to be tested against for everyone that wants to do it that way. Alright. The OG Gimle is at 91% and the Afterparty variant is down to 69%. Why? I'm not sure. Maybe the anti-munition systems, which I'm usually trash talking, are actually a necessity when meeting the Gimle. I don't know. But it's really looking like the OG Gimle is winning the first round. Well, the Afterparty Gimle ain't shooting back very much anymore. I'm starting to suspect AI issues. And if we pause a little bit, we can see that the AI seems to be intact. Well, maybe it's not AI issues then. Maybe it is power issues. Because the Afterparty Gimle is actually looking like it's almost sinking, yeah? That is absolutely crazy. The Gimle is not easy to sink. Neither of the versions, of course. By the way, do you want the Afterparty version of the Gimle on the workshop? Please give me a comment that you want that and I can upload it on my Steam workshop page if that is something you'd like. Anyways, while the Afterparty version is losing, I will say this. Huge thanks to all our current commissioned officers in the army of Gmodism, and I will name all of you who are at level lieutenant and above, which is Admiral Scooberox, Commodore Owen, Lieutenant Anto, Cravey, Powered by Greed, and Vincent Veritas. Your continuous support helps the channel very, very much. Also thanks to the YouTube members, and if you're a YouTube member, you're in the ecclesiarchy of Gmodism, and you've probably already seen this video before anyone else, because you have early access to videos as soon as I upload them and don't need to wait for the weekly schedule, but can watch them whenever I upload them, which is a lot of the time the same day, I'm afraid, but some of the time 2 weeks in advance. You see, very, very nice. Anyways, we'll need to go over to the next round, because the OG Gimle just sunk the Afterparty. Proves that the real party isn't the Afterparty always. Sometimes the real party is the good party, and the Afterparty is the sad, burning pile of dung. If you watched the round 1, do go down and write in the comments which ship you think will be winning round 2. So just write round 1 and like a colon or something, and then just the winner you think will win. That will be cool. Something like that. And we can see if any of you are right. Alright. Here we have the OG Gimle. And the afterparty here. It's just getting its color update very, very soon. So, hope you have written in the comments which ship you will think win round 2, and we'll see if anyone was right. And me. I'm actually thinking that the afterparty will win this one, because with so many improvements, I think it's unreasonable if the afterparty will not win the second round, basically. Or maybe the limited sub-objects rules and stuff like that just make the Gimle a whole lot worse. Who knows? Oh, and we get bitten by EMP too. That's true. We'll see. Maybe actually the OG Gimle wins. Wouldn't be surprised if that happens either. But I already picked my champion, like a Pokemon. You can see that the laser is just hyper-focusing on some random area, and that is because we have a shield here. So the Gimle's laser, even if it's on the new one or the old one, is hyper-focusing, you can see like that, until the shield system dies. That's why you can see a focus here, a focus there. You kind of see spots with a symmetrical pattern. That's because the Gimle is frying shields. That's why. Alright. So the afterparty version of the Gimle is actually already behind again. You can see we have the same damage pattern with spots being killed here and there to reduce the shields. And the shields on the Gimle is set pretty surface level, which isn't the best. But since we have so bulky armor, it was the best place I could put them. But that opens up for hollow point, impact and laser damage to just fry them away. Ooh, sad story. This has mini health. This is just a decoy. Gimle class Battleship 94. Oh, we are... No, this is actually not a decoy. That's a real one, I think. I thought it looked like it fired from one of the decoy systems. That's why. Alright, it's gonna be interesting. Looks like the afterparty Gimle is trying to fries the back part of the OG Gimle, which is of course full with ammo and fuel. As you can see here by this beautiful fire being created. Man, that's just burning so quickly. Ooh, look at that. And we have, oh no, we had a steam cooker that behind, which also added a lot of fire to the fuel, plus a weak explosion. So the OG Gimle is actually behind in health. Yeah, that does it. Look at that, it penetrated and exploded. Basically not touching the big Gimle's back. Damn. We're just burning off this back piece. Oh man, the fire is so strong. Look at that. Bam. And now we have some mortar damage too. Kinda surprised the fire isn't continuing. The afterparty Gimle is 2% in the lead, so it's not a big lead at all. I actually thought the afterparty version would just dominate the OG Gimle, actually. With all the improvements that we made to it, it really should, but maybe all that sub-objects being removed just limits the turret rotations for the auxiliary turrets, and making sure that we don't have a working diff flak system anymore. Or sorry, they're not called flak anymore, it's anti-munition warhead. Why did they name it that? It's impossible to say. And Anti-munition warhead, AMV. I don't know, AMV, that doesn't sound like something proper. Here you can see the Octodad does actually fire a swarm here of shots. So the diff gun on top is working. I don't know why it didn't work last round. Man. Look at that. Ooh, this cram turret is being focused on by the laser due to its shield. That sets fire to it too. If it's lucky, it can shoot the firing piece, but I'm not sure it is that lucky. But it's backed up with 2 marksman turrets, if they are still alive, of course. I'm seeing shots from one of them at least, but I think more than one is alive. So I'm unsure if this is gonna block the shots or not. Alright. Mortars popping down there, 83% yet. It really looks like the Afterparty is taking home this, so it seems that I may have selected the right Pokemon, which is good. Whoop. Look at that. Oh! The Arquebalista got a very much shorter barrel now. Our diff guns are still online, which is pretty funny. The Afterparty is leading by 8%, so it's not a lot. Well, we're gonna see where these are shooting. They're still aiming for this turret, are we? Oh, that seems to be offline now. 78%, yes. So, closing in on 10% lead on the Afterparty. Or the Afterparty is closing in on a 10% lead over the regular Gimle, of course, I mean. Oh! Looked like some big damage there. The lasers are now focusing on what exactly? Oh, are we focusing on a steam system? Oh, look at that. I think we are. We're focusing for a boiler. We're focusing for a boiler. Oh my god. This is... Oh, look at that. So close. Oh, there it gets it. It's exposed. Just one shot and it's... Oh! Yeah, there we had it. We had a fire and an explosion. It seems that the explosion wasn't quite rendered. Wow. So, OG Gimle picked the short end of the straw, this one. The Afterparty seems to be winning, but anything can happen as long as any of the cram cannons are alive. That has to be said. Those cram cannons are no joke, as you may know. They are not dealing a lot of damage, of course, but they are dealing enough damage that the mortars are popping down. They can clip barrels and stuff, and these detonator crams, I mean, both of the ships basically have the same main guns. They're just a little bit different configuration. The Afterparty doesn't rely anything on EMP. I think it has a wider frag angle and it has more health per shot, which might mean that it gets through the defenses easily, but also means that it might pack a tiny little bit less damage if it gets through. All of the Vigoletta systems being fixed like this seems to be online though, which is providing a lot of extra DPS. They are a sabot shell with some fragmentation load, which surprisingly makes it much better. I did tests. And that's the result. And it shouldn't be the result. It shouldn't be better to have a tiny piece of frag for a 67mm round. But it was during the tests, and even though from the depth data, theoretical data and math might say one thing, I'm always looking at the actual functional results, usually in some empirical testing videos, and taking my results from that. And that has been proving to work pretty well. Well, in any case, the Afterparty Gimle really looks like it's gonna win this one, and I haven't seen one of the main guns firing yet, so it's very unlikely that the OG Gimle wins this. Battle is progressing in a predictable way. It's funny to see those mortars popping in there from above. Another one. Ooh. For all the Gimle haters out there, I guess they're gonna be really sad that the Afterparty, even if it puts itself in the winner's bracket or in the loser's bracket, that means that someone will meet this beast, which makes anyone that hates the Gimle very sad, because of course it's very similar to the regular party Gimle. This is just the Afterparty, with some configurations that is mandatory for any Afterparty, as you can see here. I love this tray. I should copy it and steal it. It's like moving tray with plates and stuff. That's so cool. Ooh, 60 versus 86. Well, it's gonna be pretty much up to the third battle, which we're gonna pop in soon, to see which of the Gimle is actually the stronger one. So, unless something drastic happens, I'll be back. Otherwise, I'll see you at the third and last battle, which will decide if the OG Gimle or the BB Afterparty class Gimle will win. Gimle Afterparty versus OG Gimle. Last battle, which will be the ultimate victory of this, well, infighting skirmish. Let the battle begin. And as we can see here, the laser is lasing and continuing like that. Wow. Defenses are trying to shoot at that. Gonna be interesting. What the laser targets is probably gonna be pretty decisive for the battle. It got rid of a flak defense and diminution warhead defense turret. Ooh, we got some penetration. Big explosion. And how is... Oh man. Those diff rods. So now the full diff barrage is coming into broadside here. Very interesting. How is the... We're having big cramps incoming here. Bam! We probably did a pretty scary explosion here. Where did it go? Ooh, man, look at that. That's not the AI, is it? No? Pretty scary indeed. As of now, the OG Gimle is actually in the lead. OG Gimle is in the lead. Look at that! Oh man! A cram shot hit right in one of these center turrets and took it out. Alright. The Afterparty Gimle is severely clipped on its fangs there. But here, do we have a retribution shot? We did not. It was deflected by the underwater shields. Which is something people forget to have. Underwater shields. It's a good thing. You can see they're bouncing down and hitting the sea bottom. That's so worth it. Well, the laser on the Afterparty is of course doing a much stronger job due to not having lamps. But 90 versus 96, the OG Gimle is definitely in the lead. We're having some case of bad weather though, so it's a little bit difficult to see. Let's move over to the Afterparty. Oh! That was a pretty nasty hit on the cram turret there, where severely limits its firepower now. Yeah, having those diff guns to protect the initial volleys can definitely be decisive. The Afterparty version is down to 88%, despite the hard work of Captain Y and I to make the Afterparty superior to the regular Gimle. Well, some of those changes also made it weaker, which is definitely noticeable when we are not able to take out the first volleys of crams. You can see that the OG Gimle is still able to take out a lot of those cram shells thanks to the diff flak. Well, due to some firing piece limitations, it's possible that I'll need to design a burst flak system instead. But that's gonna be so expensive. So expensive. I am not sure that's something one wants. But maybe something to have on the really big building project, the really insane ship you've seen us building on Twitch. That's somewhere we can definitely opt for burst flak, or maybe just fully automatic continuously fire flak. If we're making it big, we make it big. Alright. OG Gimle 84%. It has its laser intact, but not having those full cram capacity anymore really makes it suffer in terms of health points as the battle progresses. We're firing a couple of shells here. Let's see where they will land. One lucky shot from each of the crafts can of course land a win. Close but no cigar. It hit, but it didn't seem to hit anything important. Alright. I do also think that the Gimle Afterparty version has no repair bots, whereas the Gimle OG has 2 repair bots, which is it's the Gimle rules. So Matrol 3rd class Sean Reed's tournament makes it, like, should we say backwards compatible with the Gimle battles? So things that are compatible with Sean Reed's tournament, which is already concluded, I believe. But anyways, they are also compatible with the Gimle battles, and I think I think some of the participants in that tournament is actually previous Gimle challengers or versions of them, since there are more rules. So it's like possible usually to adapt the ship that was in a Gimle battle to fight that. Man, it's just so many shots, it's just bouncing. You can see all of those cram cannons are still online, and since the Afterparty doesn't really have much of those diff guns to protect itself, it's gonna be just more and more damage. Like, look at that. What a confetti. Poor thing. Well, some of you will probably be seeing this in the losers bracket. Enjoy. Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, in the loser brackets, the Afterparty version is gonna do better against some targets and worse against some targets. Like, for example, the broadsword from Scorabus. I think the Afterparty will have easier time to deal with than the OG Gimle does. But that's up for future battles. It's very possible that they will never meet each other also. Bam. I think some of those... oh yes, I think that the mortars on the OG Gimle is possibly hollow point. That's where it could rip off such a big part of the wooden structure. And that's of course to soak up health points and be very hard to take out. Well, Afterparty Gimle is moving down to 76%, which means it's probably not long left now. Very interesting battle in nonetheless, and of course either of these ships can win it still, but they are very equally strong since they did win one battle each. I do think, however, that the Afterparty Gimle has a higher damage potential, but it's relying a lot on the initial fight, if it will be lucky or if it will be unlucky. Look at that. Now the original Gimle is having some payback fires started in the rear, in the stern of the Afterparty. Looking like a pretty difficult Afterparty here. So many holes in the floor by now. Well, feeling like a pretty slow battle, but darn. The Afterparty and the OG Gimle is of course fighting very hard to the last percentages. It's, I think a good ship design is usually fighting while despawning. That's what I try to make mine. It's like the first big battleship I built, the Draconia. I think Borderwise said something like it's a killer baby seal fighting from the grave. It was some of you guys in the comment who invented the killer baby seal for the Draconia. That was just so hilarious. Well, in any case, if you want to see the construction of my first battleship, the Draconia, the big one, there is a series of that on YouTube you can check through if you want some building entertainment. Well, the Afterparty version is moving down to 69%. So I do believe that I'll pop up here. We can see the rest of the battle in the background like this. Because I hardly think that we're gonna get other results here. The OG Gimle is at 98% and the Afterparty is at 68%. It doesn't have its front turret. It doesn't have its lasers popping up, and it's rapidly moving down in terms of health. It's just so amazed that the OG Gimle's pack system is still doing consistent damage. I thought that pack system was just added like most for fun. I didn't actually intend it to, or I didn't think it would do such a big role. But in a lot of the battles we've seen, that combo pack smash pierce pack, EMP smash pierce pack does actually seem to be providing substantial extra firepower by doing specialty damage towards targets consistently, which sometimes actually decides the battle. But in any case, if you want to have good updates on new videos and streams and stuff, you should probably check out our X page, which is commonly known as Twitter or whatever. Yeah, I saw this hilarious picture where they took the Twitter bird and they kind of just cut it up and pieced it together into an X just to kind of symbolize the unwanted name change. But anyways, if you want the updates on some videos and some other fun random tweets about some gaming and tech and streaming and whatnot, then you should definitely follow me there on Twitch, so that you'll make sure that you never miss a video. Can be cool. You can also turn on notifications, that works pretty well too. Well, the after party is at 64% just now, and the OG Gimle is still at 89. And it hasn't firing much of its crams in a while, and it's tilting. So yeah, I will be very surprised if it would turn this around. Let's face it, it won't. Just won't. This looks nice. Well, in any case, I hope that you did enjoy this video very much. And if you did, you should definitely leave a like to the video. And do subscribe to the channel to stay updated and get turn on the notifications or join the Twitter, and you'll solve the problem. You can support the channel too, join the ecclesiarchy down below, or go to Patreon, check out there. I'll see you next time. This is your host Gmodism, and we are officially signing out with a surprisingly victorious OG Gimle. Who would have known? Not me. See you next time. Eric, signing out.